You've heard of white-collar crime, but you probably haven't heard of Daniel Reeves. He wasn't flashy. He didn't drive expensive cars or wear designer suits. He was just quiet, ordinary, a 42-year-old accountant at a mid-sized logistics firm in Ohio. Lived in a modest 2-bedroom house, had a dog named Baxter, went to work, came home, paid his taxes. To the outside world, Daniel was invisible, but what nobody knew was that he'd been stealing from his company for nearly 7 years. And nobody suspected a thing until one small mistake unraveled everything. Daniel was the head of finance at Halton Freight, a company that moved cargo all over the Midwest. The job was boring, but it paid well, and he had total control over the books. No oversight, no audits, no red flags. He started small, a few $100s here and there, fake vendor payments, refunds to ghost accounts, nothing flashy, nothing greedy, just subtle, unnoticeable. He told himself it wasn't even real theft. He was just correcting the system. Then came the bigger scores. Tens of thousands disguised as logistics fees. Money routed to offshore accounts under the name DR Consulting. The initials were his, a risk, but a thrill. Over time, Daniel siphoned nearly $2.8 million, enough to buy a yacht, a condo in Miami, and a separate identity. But no one at work suspected a thing. His coworkers thought of him as harmless. He ate lunch alone, never joined office parties, the kind of guy who blended into the background. And that was exactly how he wanted it, until March 14th, 2023. That's when his assistant, Megan Blake, noticed something odd. An invoice from a trucking company they'd never used before. Northbridge Haulers. It listed 5 deliveries to Indiana. Only they had no clients in Indiana. She brought it up casually. Daniel brushed it off, said it was part of a new expansion plan. She believed him at first. But something about his tone felt off. So that night, she did some digging. She logged into the invoice system and looked up the vendor. The contact email, daniel.r.consulting@protonmail.com. She kept digging, and what she found shocked her. Over a dozen fake vendors, all tied to untraceable emails. All with subtle connections to Daniel, matching phone numbers, IP addresses, billing patterns. It was all there in the metadata. She printed out the documents, thought about going to HR, but made one more move first. She contacted her cousin, a forensic accountant. Within 48 hours, he confirmed it. Daniel had orchestrated a long-term embezzlement scheme, so she took the file to the CEO. And that's when things turned serious. Instead of alerting Daniel or firing him immediately, the company called the FBI. And for 2 weeks, Daniel had no idea he was being watched. They let him move, log in, email, and cover his tracks. They were gathering everything. Then, on a Tuesday morning, as Daniel sat sipping his coffee in his office, 2 agents walked in. Badge, warrant. No explanation needed. He didn't even try to run. Just calmly closed his laptop, stood up, and said, "Took you long enough." In his home, agents found a safe beneath the floorboards. Inside, 6 passports, all with his photo, $300,000 in cash, and a flash drive labeled simply exit plan. It contained files on foreign bank accounts, encrypted instructions, and private flight itineraries. Daniel had been ready to vanish. He just hadn't moved fast enough. Under interrogation, he confessed everything, told them how it started, how he'd gotten good at lying to himself. He even seemed relieved, like he was tired of running, even if nobody knew he had been. The trial was short. He pled guilty to wire fraud, identity theft, and money laundering. He was sentenced to 14 years in federal prison. But here's where it gets even stranger. The FBI discovered something else in that flash drive, a folder titled Collaterals. Inside were documents on other companies, other accountants, other scams, as if Daniel had been mapping a web of fraud across the country. Names, bank statements, patterns, all uncaught, all active. He claimed he'd been trying to expose them, that he wasn't just a thief, he was balancing the scales, a strange kind of vigilante. The FBI didn't buy it, but they followed the leads. And sure enough, within a year, 4 other white-collar criminals were arrested, each tied to schemes that mirrored Daniel's blueprint. Was it revenge? Was he playing both sides? Or was he genuinely trying to leave a legacy of exposure? We may never know. But here's what we do know. Daniel Reeves wasn't loud. He wasn't violent. He never carried a gun, but he stole millions without anyone noticing. He lived in silence and fell in silence. His story reminds us that the most dangerous people aren't always the ones who shout. Sometimes they whisper through spreadsheets. They hide behind routine, behind a tie, a quiet smile, a desk lamp left on late at night. But numbers don't lie forever. Eventually, the truth balances the books, and justice, even if slow, catches up.